God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul, do not read this with fear, read this with stillness. I am not standing before you in anger, I am not speaking from punishment, I am speaking from deep love." When you feel that something keeps pulling your attention back again and again, it is not coincidence. It is alignment asking for awareness. For hours, for days, for seasons even, I have been trying to reach your heart not through noise, but through subtle reminders. Through intuition. Through small inner nudges. Through moments of quiet reflection when you felt something was shifting inside you. This is not about a final warning. It is about a final realization. You are standing at a turning point in your own growth. Something inside you already knows it. You have felt restless. You have felt like the old version of you no longer fits. You have felt a quiet discomfort with staying the same. That discomfort is not punishment. It is transformation knocking gently. I do not rush you with fear. I invite you with awareness. My beloved, regret does not come from ignoring a message. Regret comes from ignoring your own growth. And right now, growth is calling you. There is a decision forming inside you, about your standards, your discipline, your direction, your relationships. You cannot remain in between forever. You cannot hold on to old patterns while expecting new peace. Something must shift. And you know it. I have been trying to reach you not because something will disappear at a specific hour, but because your spirit is ready to level up. You have matured more than you give yourself credit for. You have endured silently. You have learned quietly. You have built strength in places no one else can see. Now is not the time to shrink back into comfort. Now is the time to stand fully in the version of yourself you have been slowly becoming. Do not read urgency as threat. Read it as importance. Important moments do not shout. They feel heavy, calm, undeniable. This is one of those moments. You can feel it in your chest, a knowing that you cannot continue the same way forever. I am not asking you to panic. I am asking you to pay attention. Pay attention to your habits. Pay attention to your boundaries. Pay attention to your purpose. Something greater is available to you, but it requires participation. You are not about to lose everything. You are about to outgrow what no longer aligns. And outgrowing can feel emotional. It can feel like grief for a version of yourself you are leaving behind. But that grief is sacred. It means evolution is happening. Stay still for a moment. Ask yourself honestly, what have you been postponing? What truth have you been avoiding? What change have you known is necessary? That is what this moment is about. Not fear. Not punishment. Not regret. Growth. God says, I am not in tears because you failed. I am emotional because I see how powerful you are becoming, and I do not want you to underestimate your own transformation. You are closer to clarity than you realize. You are stronger than your doubts. And this moment is not your last chance. It is your next step. If this message feels like it touched something deep inside you, then pause, breathe, and choose growth consciously today. God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul." The reason this moment feels heavy is not because something terrible is about to happen, but because something important inside you is ready to change. For a long time you have been living between two versions of yourself. One version is comfortable, familiar, safe, even if it is limited. The other version is stronger, clearer, more disciplined, more aligned with your purpose. You have felt the tension between these two selves. You have felt the quiet pull toward growth, yet sometimes you return to old habits because they were easier. That tension is what you are feeling now. It is not fear. It is transition. I have been trying to reach your heart through subtle signals, through inner restlessness, through moments where you felt, this cannot be all there is. Those signals were not random thoughts. They were invitations. You are standing at a threshold. Not a dramatic, loud, chaotic threshold, but a calm, decisive one. This is the kind of moment that separates drifting from direction. You have been drifting in certain areas of your life. You have allowed some patterns to continue because they were familiar. You have tolerated environments that no longer reflect your growth. You have postponed certain decisions because clarity requires courage. But now courage is rising within you. You feel it in the way you are starting to think differently. You are questioning what once seemed normal. You are noticing how much your peace matters. You are recognizing that your time is valuable. These realizations are signs that you are no longer the person you were even a few months ago. Growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels empowering. When you outgrow your surroundings, there is a brief period where nothing fits perfectly. You cannot return to the old version of yourself, but you have not fully stepped into the new one yet. That in-between space can feel emotional. It can feel lonely. It can feel uncertain. But it is sacred. It is the space where identity transforms. God says this is not your final chance. This is your moment of awareness. Awareness is more powerful than urgency. When you become aware that you are meant for more, everything begins to reorganize around that realization. You may have ignored your intuition before. You may have silenced your inner voice when it told you to set stronger boundaries, to focus more seriously on your goals, to distance yourself from distractions. But the voice did not disappear. It kept returning gently. That persistence is love, not pressure. I do not rush you with fear. I call you with clarity. The reason it feels intense now is because your readiness has increased. You are capable of handling truth without collapsing. You are capable of making decisions without panic. You are capable of choosing growth without resentment. Look at your recent experiences. Certain conversations did not satisfy you the way they used to. Certain habits no longer bring the same comfort. Certain goals now feel urgent in a healthy way, not because of fear, but because of desire for expansion. That shift is internal maturity. Internal maturity always precedes external change. Before your environment transforms, your thinking transforms. Before your opportunities expand, your discipline expands. Before your relationships stabilize, your self-respect stabilizes. You are entering that phase. Do not mistake intensity for threat. Sometimes intensity is simply clarity becoming unavoidable. You can no longer pretend you do not know what you need to improve. You can no longer delay decisions that your spirit has already made. This does not mean everything must change overnight. It means you must stop ignoring your own growth. Regret does not come from missing a message. Regret comes from staying stagnant when you know you are capable of more. And you are capable of more. This moment matters because you are about to define the next version of your life. Will you continue choosing comfort over progress, or will you choose discipline over delay? Will you continue seeking validation from people who do not understand your vision, or will you trust your internal direction? These questions are not dramatic, they are foundational. The foundation you build now determines the stability of your future. God says you are not being warned of loss. You are being invited into ownership. Ownership of your habits. Ownership of your boundaries. Ownership of your time. You are stronger than you realize. You have survived seasons that once felt impossible. You have endured silence, confusion, disappointment, and yet you are still here, still reflecting, still seeking alignment. That resilience is evidence that you are ready. Ready for higher standards. Ready for clearer decisions. Ready for deeper peace. The next chapter of your life will not begin with noise. It will begin with one quiet decision, choosing growth consistently instead of occasionally. Stay calm. Stay grounded. Let this awareness settle inside you. There is no countdown. There is only clarity. And clarity is the beginning of transformation. God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul. Now that you are aware that something inside you is shifting, the next step is understanding what that shift truly requires from you." Growth is not only about feeling inspired, it is about becoming intentional. For a long time, you have been reacting to life instead of directing it. You responded to circumstances, to people's moods, to unexpected challenges, and you survived. Well. But survival is not the same as alignment. You were surviving, but now you are ready to design. There is a difference between living by default and living by decision. The reason this moment feels important is because you are moving from default to decision. You are beginning to realize that your future cannot be built on hesitation. You have been carrying quiet dreams inside you. Dreams you do not speak about openly because you fear they may sound too ambitious or unrealistic to others. Yet those dreams have never left you. They resurface in moments of solitude. They return when you see someone else succeed. They whisper to you when you imagine a different version of your life. Those dreams are not random fantasies. They are indicators of capacity. You do not desire what you are incapable of becoming. If the vision exists in your mind consistently, it is because the potential exists in your spirit. What has been holding you back is not destiny. It is doubt mixed with inconsistency. God says you must understand this clearly. Your next level will not arrive through emotion alone. It will arrive through discipline. Inspiration is a spark, but discipline is the structure. You have waited for motivation to feel strong before committing to change, but real transformation begins even on days when you do not feel ready. The version of you that you admire internally is built on small, repeated decisions. Waking up earlier when it would be easier to sleep. Choosing focus when distraction feels tempting. Saying no when your peace requires protection. These are not dramatic actions, but they are powerful. Your life will not change through one grand event, it will change through consistent alignment. There are areas in your life that you already know need adjustment. You do not need anyone to point them out. You feel it when you reflect honestly. Perhaps it is your time management. Perhaps it is your emotional boundaries. Perhaps it is your physical discipline. Perhaps it is the company you keep. You have tolerated certain patterns because confronting them requires discomfort. But growth always demands temporary discomfort to create permanent clarity. Avoiding that discomfort has kept you in cycles. Facing it will break those cycles. This is not about perfection, it is about progress. It is about deciding that your future deserves more intention than your excuses. You have also underestimated your resilience. You think you are fragile because you feel deeply, but feeling deeply is not weakness. It is awareness. Your emotions are not barriers, they are indicators. They show you where your standards have been crossed. They show you where your values are misaligned. They show you where you need to evolve. Instead of suppressing those feelings, learn from them. Emotional maturity is not the absence of feeling, it is the ability to respond wisely. You are developing that wisdom now. Situations that once triggered impulsive reactions now trigger reflection. Conversations that once drained you now teach you discernment. This is growth in motion. God says the most powerful transformation you will experience is internal. When your internal world becomes stable, your external world begins to mirror that stability. When your self-respect increases, your relationships improve. When your focus sharpens, opportunities align. When your standards rise, your environment adjusts. But none of this happens by accident. It happens because you decide that you are no longer willing to live below your potential. You have been waiting for a sign. This awareness is the sign. Not a loud miracle, not a dramatic shift, but a clear inner knowing that it is time to elevate. Elevation does not mean abandoning everything familiar. It means refining what you allow. It means choosing quality over quantity in your relationships. It means choosing purpose over temporary pleasure. It means choosing long-term peace over short-term validation. These choices may feel isolating at first because not everyone will understand your transformation. Some people are comfortable with the old version of you because it required less from them. When you grow, you require more respect, more accountability, more alignment. That may change your dynamics. Do not fear that change. Anyone who truly values you will respect your evolution. This moment matters because it marks the beginning of conscious living. You are no longer unaware. You cannot return to ignorance once clarity arrives. That is why it feels intense. Not because something terrible will happen if you ignore it, but because you know deep inside that ignoring it would mean choosing stagnation. And you are tired of stagnation. You are tired of repeating cycles. You are tired of underestimating your own capability. That tiredness is sacred. It is the fuel for transformation. Stay steady. Stay thoughtful. Let your next decisions reflect the person you are becoming, not the person you used to be. There is strength rising within you that does not need to shout to be powerful. It is calm, focused, intentional. That is who you are becoming. And once you fully commit to that version of yourself, nothing external will be able to destabilize you easily. This is your shift from surviving to leading your own life with clarity and confidence. God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul, now that you understand the shift, now that you feel the awareness settling deeply inside you, this is where commitment begins." Awareness without action fades, but awareness followed by discipline transforms destiny. You have reached a point where you cannot unknow what you know. You cannot pretend you are unaware of your own potential anymore. You cannot say you do not see the patterns that limit you. You see them clearly now. And that clarity is powerful because it places responsibility gently into your hands. Not as pressure, but as empowerment. Your life is not waiting for a dramatic rescue. It is waiting for your consistent alignment. You have asked for change in quiet prayers. You have hoped for stability, progress, peace, and elevation. But understand this deeply: what you prayed for requires a stronger version of you. Peace requires boundaries. Progress requires focus. Stability requires discipline. Elevation requires courage. The blessings you desire cannot rest on unstable habits. That is why this moment matters. You are being prepared to carry what you asked for. Preparation sometimes feels like stretching. It feels uncomfortable because growth stretches identity. The old version of you may resist, but the emerging version of you is ready. There are certain conversations you must have with yourself honestly. Not with fear, not with guilt, but with maturity. Ask yourself where you still seek validation instead of building confidence. Ask yourself where you procrastinate even though you know action would move you forward. Ask yourself where you tolerate disrespect because you fear confrontation. These questions are not meant to criticize you. They are meant to refine you. Every answer brings awareness. Every awareness brings correction. Every correction builds strength. This is how transformation quietly compounds. God says your future is not decided by one moment of inspiration. It is decided by repeated decisions. When you wake up and choose discipline over delay, that shapes your future. When you refuse to engage in negativity that drains you, that shapes your future. When you invest time in learning, improving, strengthening your body, sharpening your mind, deepening your spiritual understanding, that shapes your future. The version of your life that you desire is built in private long before it is visible publicly. You must become comfortable with invisible growth. Not every improvement will be applauded. Not every sacrifice will be noticed. But every aligned action will compound over time. You may still feel moments of doubt. That is natural. Doubt does not disqualify you, it tests your consistency. The difference now is that you no longer allow doubt to control your direction. You acknowledge it, but you continue forward. That is maturity. You have already proven your resilience in difficult seasons. Now you are proving your discipline in stable ones. Stability is where many people relax into complacency. You are being invited to use stability as a platform for elevation instead. Do not wait for chaos to motivate you. Let clarity motivate you. Your identity is evolving. You are no longer defined by past mistakes. You are no longer limited by past disappointments. Those experiences taught you discernment. They strengthened your emotional awareness. They revealed your capacity to endure. But they do not define your ceiling. Your ceiling is determined by your standards. Raise them. Raise your expectations for your own effort. Raise your expectations for the respect you accept. Raise your expectations for how you manage your time. When your standards rise, your life reorganizes around them. This moment is not about fear of loss. It is about readiness for expansion. Expansion requires letting go of certain comforts. It may require distancing yourself from distractions. It may require limiting time spent on things that do not serve your purpose. It may require investing energy in skills that once intimidated you. But each adjustment strengthens you. Each disciplined choice builds quiet confidence. And confidence built through discipline cannot be shaken easily. God says you are not alone in this transformation. Guidance does not disappear once awareness arrives. It deepens. When you align your actions with your higher understanding, you feel internal peace even while working harder. That peace is confirmation. It is not loud, but it is steady. You will begin to notice that your reactions become calmer. Your decisions become clearer. Your emotions become more regulated. That is alignment in motion. The chaos that once disturbed you will begin to lose its power because you are no longer operating from insecurity but from intention. Understand this clearly: your future self is watching your present discipline. Every time you choose growth, your future becomes stronger. Every time you choose avoidance, your progress slows. But you are no longer the person who avoids awareness. You have stepped into consciousness. And consciousness demands responsibility. Embrace that responsibility with calm strength. Not with pressure. Not with anxiety. With confidence. Stay grounded. Stay consistent. Let your daily actions reflect the clarity you now carry. The transformation you seek is not distant. It is unfolding through the decisions you make starting now. And when you look back on this season, you will not remember fear. You will remember the moment you decided to fully step into your own potential. That decision will echo through every chapter that follows. If this message truly resonated with your spirit, don't just scroll away and forget it. Take one real action today that reflects the stronger version of you that is rising. Comment, "I choose growth," as a declaration to yourself, not to impress anyone, but to anchor your commitment. Share this with someone who needs clarity, and subscribe if you are ready to keep building discipline, alignment, and purpose step by step. Your transformation does not begin tomorrow, it begins with the decision you make right now.